Rock on. Welcome to the episode of Frack The Canon. I am joined by my brother from another mother, Mr. Kenny. How are you doing, good sir?
Oh, wax on, wax off, René song.
Right, we are waxing on too. With Cobra Kai, season 4. Yeah.
Season 4. They are going to get a season 5, though.
Yeah, they're filming it right now as we speak. Today, January 7th, 2022. Alrighty, so let's get with it, dude. What was your favorite moment of this? What did you think? How did you rate this season compared to the rest? For me,
I remember we talked. You said it was your favorite season. I think season 1's still absolutely my favorite season. And it might always stay my favorite season. This I'd probably say is my second favorite. There's a lot of great moments from season 2. There's a lot of great moments from season 3. But this one had probably I want to say definitely a top 5 moment for me. And without like spoiling too much or jumping to the end, it's actually 2 of my favorite moments. One is with Eli, and then the other is with Miguel in the tournament toward the end, the final episode.
Okay. I just remember being like, it's so weird how I remember there were 2 moments in the series because this season I'm like, this is insane. I remember like people keep coming in from Cobra Kai's past. I'm like, dude, like, what the hell, man? Like, what is up with you? Like all these people coming out of the woodwork to get revenge on LaRusso and all. Like even his wife said it too. She goes like, "It was gonna come from Cobra Kai." She goes like, "No, I don't know anymore." That made me laugh.
Yeah, that was a great moment. It made me bust up laughing because he was so confident. He was like, "No, but well, maybe." But at this point, as far as like Karate Kid lore goes, like we're done with Daniel. It would only be next Karate Kid, which was Hilary Swank, right?
Yeah.
So
I wanted to show up, like, but I don't think it's gonna happen ever in this.
I think maybe this is just me. I'm always in fear of the they let things go on longer than they should. It's okay to write a complete story. I hope the next season is the last season and it tells everything. The only problem with that is Johnny as a character still has a lot of growth to do, and I don't know that you can do it over one season. Because that's where I want the show to go. Is I want Johnny to get to a point where he, as a character, is a better individual. And there's flashes of it every once in a while, but then there's stuff like in this season where he sees Miguel being trained by Daniel and like he takes it personally, or he gets beat up by Silver and then is incredibly drunk and he's like, I try to be a good father, Robbie, and he's talking to Miguel, and I'm just like, come on, you're so close.
I really do. I try to protect you. I try to be there for you. Just suck at it. I really suck at it. But I want to so bad. You're doing just fine. I love you. I love you too, Robbie.
You're so close to being a better character.
I know, exactly. Just so.
But I don't know. We'll see. The way they ended this was probably the biggest cliffhanger. You get Chosen back.
If Cobra Kai is going to keep growing and getting stronger, I need to do whatever it takes to stop them. Even if that means going on offense. I know this isn't your fight. And this is a lot to ask. But will you help me finally put an end to Cobra Kai?
That was so amazing. I'm like, what?
I popped for that moment. I was just like, okay, let's go. We got because it's Silver now has Cobra Kai. Kreese is going to jail. That's a whole other moment too. Stingray comes back for 2 episodes and they like completely meme his character the way that like the fandom does. So
I hate him so much. He's so dumb.
Yeah, he's a fuck up, but sorry, he's a screw up.
He's a frack up. That's all right.
He's a frack up, but that's what a lot of the Cobra Kai kids feel like they are, though. Yeah. And so that's why you see it one as an adult.
I just remember. This was to me like everything was awesome. All right, I was asking my cousin this too. What were your favorite fight moments or fight scenes in this season? Because I have one that stands out for me. There's two that stand out, but one that really stands out for me.
All right, what's the one that stands out for you?
Is the one with Johnny and Daniel have the rematch.
Fight!
And they both like knock each other out. That is my favorite one.
Okay. One, because they knock each other out, but two, because Johnny proves so Chosen in the last season does that thing to Daniel's arm where it makes him numb. And then Daniel does that to Johnny, but Johnny figures out a way to still get the point. He does that kick takedown where he leaps and this. So I loved this moment to the point where it was like I was told to be quiet because I was being too loud. Because when he jumps and does the kick takedown, I was like, this proves Johnny's a great fighter.
Right.
Probably better than Daniel. But it's also not brought back up in the show because I thought he won that move that he does, that Daniel does to like kind of like numb the arm, is never taught to any of the kids. Probably I can understand why, or like I can come to a conclusion myself as to why that's the case. But that counter that Johnny does, I don't know if they meant it as like here's Miyagi-Do doing offense, and then here's Cobra Kai or Eagle Fang doing defense. Symbolically, that's how it looks if you really kind of dig for something there. That's I guess like talking out loud, that's how I'm gonna take it, because that was one of my favorite moments. That was really, really cool.
Go ahead.
Mine is Eli fighting Robbie.
That was cool.
That was a fight that I didn't know I wanted, and then when it happened, and I'm getting chills just thinking about it, because Eli is the only character to have gone through, if I'm remembering correctly, Cobra Kai, Miyagi-Do, and Eagle Fang training. He's gone through all three.
I mean, you could argue Miguel and the other guys, Eagle Fang, but he's the one that went back too.
Yeah, the only one that really made his own choice.
Yeah.
Felt.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was like through bullying or through becoming the bully and then being humbled or whatever it was, his character seems to have grown the most, in my opinion, I guess. And I think it's really cool to see that. And then for him, because especially after, like I said, season 1 was my favorite, and he gets knocked out of the tournament in season 1, and like you can tell that takes it very personally. Right. And then to get this win now in season 4, like it kind of feels like it means the most. Whereas like other characters are still trying to figure out who they are. It seems like he's kind of already gone through a lot of that process to get to, I know who I am. Or I'm on closer to knowing who I am than like, because spoilers, Miguel at the end of the season kind of re-injures himself and then goes to sort of figure out who he is.
Right.
Robbie claims to know who he is, but still still shuts himself off from the rest of the world. Or like Sam's pretty close to learning who she is too, because that was another really cool moment where in the tournament, like Sam figures out the way I have to beat not Tori, but the fight before Tori is like, I have to use both styles, but I have to use them in my own way.
Right.
Another really cool moment. So like this season isn't fan service as much as it is just like really fantastic payoff.
Storytelling.
Yeah, storytelling. Just fantastic storytelling.
So I was telling this to I was talking to my cousin about the Spanish version. Like in film school, they're like, you can't. It's gotta be like it's gotta be something we learn something about the character of the story, right? I'm like, this is all everything every character does this season. I don't. So I can guess it. I mean, everything the characters do feels right. I'm like, the character would do that, except for
Even
John Kreese at the end of when he's kind of like doubting himself. I'm like, when he's looking at Johnny Lawrence and Silver is pushing Troy to fight aggressively. Like,
but even
like,
that is it because Terry Silver has that moment where he goes, I know what your weakness is. And it's Johnny Lawrence, which does seem a little odd given how Karate Kid 1 ends. But I can also see like John Kreese being this like macho, like do what you do have to win personality, but has somehow taken this one individual to heart as like a father figure. Like John Kreese at any time could have done more to take Johnny out, but never did. Right? Like, and maybe that's because he's always had a soft spot for Johnny in his heart as like his number one student and everything. And then this cements Silver again as like the most evil villain in the entire series.
I like how you referenced that too. He was like, I was touching a high school kid for a karate tournament. That made me laugh. Like, it was so meta. I'm like, oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah. This is something that this entire series has always kind of done right as far as like the rebooting an old franchise. They take the fan service, they take the meta moments, and then they take the character growth and they combine it in a way that like a lot of things don't. Without going off on a tangent, I watched the new Matrix and just the first 25 minutes are god awful because all it does is reference itself. So
yes, we'll talk about that on another episode.
I know
exactly what you mean. I know what you're talking about, but this one, they do it right.
They reference themselves, but they make fun of them. They make fun of themselves when they need to, and they take themselves serious when they need to.
Agreed.
And it just makes it enjoyable. Like those moments where a character like Dimitri, who is this like major nerd in the first episode, couldn't protect himself, is now like fighting in the tournament and looking like a total badass. Like awesome. Like what a great character story to follow, without being like the beating you over the face with like the I'm the nerd joke, or I'm too weak to do anything, or I doubt myself to a point. Like they still have those moments, but they don't like kill you with them. And they also don't over reference the past material with stuff like that. And then the heartwarming moments are heartwarming too. Like Miguel and his mom is a mere story from Daniel and his mom in the first movie. Like, but they have that heart touching moment where Daniel's teaching Miguel how to drive and they talk about it. And then there's a joke payoff later when Miguel's talking to Johnny. He's like, I haven't told you about Chicago. Or they're talking about the band Chicago.
What happened in Chicago? The band.
Yeah, what happened? The band. Like it does it right. And so I love being able to nerd out and talk about it, because when something's good, when something's really good, it's really, really good.
Well, this is one that I have. It hasn't faltered. It hasn't, like, it's completely stayed at the same level of good. You know, it hasn't dropped or anything. Which that's why I'm afraid. I'm like, please don't go past season 5. Please don't go past season 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, after season 5, most shows.
Yes.
Downhill.
Yes.
I'm like, please don't go past season 5.
And Netflix is weird with how they do things too. Sometimes the show can be doing very well, or at least seemingly very well, and they're like canceled. And this is a show that kind of quote survived cancellation once already.
Yeah, kind of when it was on YouTube.
Yeah, it was on YouTube for 2 seasons, and then they weren't going to continue it, even though the ending to season 2 is like a great cliffhanger.
One of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I have no. I don't know what else. Just like I just loved everything. I love the fight scene between Tori and Samantha. That's
yeah.
Yeah, dude. I love how, go ahead.
Sorry. You reminded me. that is a big talking point because Sam won that fight.
Yeah,
Technically.
he did. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for it.
Okay.
So spoilers again. Spoilers. This is a spoiler show.
Big spoilers. So the ref was paid off.
A few times. You know what? Played it just right.
No one suspects a thing.
The money will be in your account tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Mr. Silver.
And there's a great moment earlier in the tournament where I believe it's Johnny. Johnny goes, "He's not out. What are you talking about? Like use your eyes, ref." As a sport fan, we all have that moment where we just kind of bad talk the ref because the ref is, the easy one to blame. But in this, we find out that Silver has paid off the refs.
Right.
So Sam technically wins, but because of the stakes that are at hand, they make her lose. She is forced to lose, and so that is a big moment that goes into season 5 because Tori finds out. All the other thing to talk about that we're kind of overlooking is, with the exception of maybe Silver, and I could argue Kreese, all of these characters are redeemable in some way. So Tori has done bad things, but she is a redeemable, or can be a redeemable character. Like the stuff with Sam and Tori's, or Sam's mom and Tori. It's Tori is very much a cut-off person. She doesn't want help from anybody, but then she starts to receive it and is humbled, and you start to see a little bit of growth and movement. Or like even Robbie seems like he's gone down this path and is lost, but Kenny shows up and reminds Robbie of what it's like to kind of be this misguided kid.
That is kind of bugging me about that character, about Robbie. I understand it. Like, he's coming out of like jealousy, out of because he's not Robbie's not a bad guy. He's a good guy. He's just been around bad people. But at the end of I feel at the end of that kind of bugged me too when he's gonna win, beat Hawk. He looks up, and that's what I'm like. No, dude. Like you want to win, right? Like.
Yeah.
So like at this point, like you guys are kind of mad at each other and stuff. I'm like there's that moment did kind of be like, I don't know if I buy that moment. Just that's the one moment that kind of takes me out of the series. I'm like, but on that, I'm just like,
I could see that
because it's the same. It's a Karate Kid story again with Kenny. I'm like, that did bug me. I will say this, that did bug me. That this season was a little bit with Kenny. It was a Karate Kid story again, but instead he goes to Cobra Kai instead of Eagle Fang or Miyagi-Do. If that makes sense.
But it does. I mean, it does make sense, but also it does as a when you're a lost kid and the things around you shape the person that you become, right? So
True.
Like Daniel finds Mr. Miyagi, and Mr. Miyagi teaches him like defense and like sort of. And let's be honest, Daniel's a little bit of a bully in the first movie. And by that, what I mean is the bathroom scene. He has no reason to dump water over Johnny Lawrence other than to just be a bully. But you can see it actually. When you or you mentioned that, and I think it actually mirrors it very well as far as like in the sense of like Kenny goes to Cobra Kai and then becomes aggressive, whereas Daniel goes to Miyagi-Do and more or less becomes a little bit more passive, but like understands like the tools that I'm being taught I only need to use, whereas Kenny is like there's that scene where he is beating the crap out of Anthony, yeah.
Tell me how it felt.
Well, not great.
And you wouldn't know. Because no one's ever been such a piece of shit to you! Well, maybe it's time you found out. How's that feel, LaPusso? Not great? Man, get up! Get
And so I think that actually is, I would argue, is really good storytelling too. If you look at it in a mirrored sense of the first movie and this season with those two characters.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I want to talk about it. I don't know if there's anything else that I'm missing. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to touch?
There's a lot to talk about. in this whole season. But the biggest thing I can say is like if you've watched any of it and you're this far in, like I'm sure you're enjoying it just as much as we are. This episode is a total gush fest.
It really
between
is. We should probably one day sit down and just like actually talk about the whole season.
And that, and like we should really sit down and write and frame what to talk about because there's a lot. There is.
There really is. We should definitely do that. This is kind of just like, all right. What do you expect, or what do you want to see in season 5?
I want to see more character growth out of Johnny. I think that we've seen some flashes of it, but that's the one thing I think I'm missing from this entire series is there's times where I look at Johnny and I go, you're still just that same idiot kid from the first movie. And then there's other times that I go, look, he's learning, he can learn. But I want, because he wants to be a good father, whether it's to Miguel or Robbie or to both. I think that the really cool scenes where we see like Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang teaming up and them kind of teaching and learning from each other, I want more of that. But more than that, I don't want this show to overstay its welcome. So if it's 1 or 2 more seasons, I hope it's 1 or 2 more seasons.
I think maybe 2. I just want 1. I mean, just again, because out of history of other shows, after 5 kind of just goes. So I don't want no more. Maybe 2, maybe 1 or 2, maybe no more than 6. And I just want to see. I want to see Ali come back, but I can't think of a reason why she would come back.
Yeah, that character kind of paid off last season.
Yeah,
it's like it's tough. I'm sure there's a way to write it, but it might be kind of tough.
And also, what else?
Hilary Swank, maybe.
Yes, that's what I want. Yep, I want to see Hilary Swank.
I could get down.
I don't think she's Tori's mom.
I don't think so either. Maybe Tori's aunt.
Maybe
I had a thought.
Aunt, yeah.
Yeah, or like a wealthy...
no, but she didn't. But she didn't have any kids, any siblings in the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
There's a way to write it. I think there's a way for it to make sense. I don't know that it's maybe Tori necessarily, or maybe some like because we find out more about I'm blanking on her name, but the Daniel's wife. We find out more about her character a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Maybe a sister or a cousin.
Maybe a cousin
potentially. Yeah.
What is her name? Amanda. Yeah. Yep.
So we find out more about Amanda in this season, like a little bit of a backstory there. So like maybe. That'd be cool.
That'd be great. All right, those are my final comments and thoughts. Your final comments and thoughts?
Go watch it. I mean, I'm sure anybody watching this already has, but go watch it.
I know. Yes, we should definitely next time sit down and write down, do a rundown like we're supposed to. All right.
I mean, like I said, gush fest, but it deserved it. I'm glad to be able to have content this good, given everything we've gone through the last couple of years. So
I know, dude. I second that. Like, oh my god.
Yeah,
I agree. All right, dude. Thank you, Katie. Thank you for joining me for this episode. We'll see you same fracking time, same fracking channel. Frack off.